We're in Doha, Qatar for the first of two events in the 2013 UIM Nations Cup. What better venue could there be than Doha? This booming Middle Eastern city with its iconic skyscraper-studded skyline, extraordinary architecture, and elegant mix of modernity and tradition, cosmopolitanism and heritage has ambitions far surpassing almost any other. Doha has hosted such events as the Asian Games and is gearing up to host the 2022 FIFA World Cup. Qatar is a country and culture that has its roots in the desert, which still has an important place in the Qatari way of life. But it's the water that truly defines Qatar. Qatar proclaims itself as the world capital of marine motorsports, and rightly so. The last 2 weeks saw a bevy of World Championship powerboat racing over a host of series, including the Aquabike, F1 H2O, F4, and the Nations Cup Grand Prix, with Qatari teams and racers competing in all events.
With Team Qatar, it's a challenging weekend here at this race at the Corniche here because we are running Formula 4, Formula 1, and the Nations Cup. We have our Formula 4 drivers in the Nations Cup boat running back-to-back. We have a more of a seasoned veteran in one, and then we have Mohammed, who is a brand new driver, first time in a boat, was free practice in Nations Cup a couple of days ago, doing really well.
UIM Nations Cup began in 2011, and this year's Qatar Grand Prix is the third Nations Cup event so far, with another Nations Cup to be run this year in Abu Dhabi. The Qatar Grand Prix was organized by the Qatar Marine Sports Federation, led by Sheikh Hassan bin Jabir Al Thani, an accomplished powerboat racer himself. The Nations Cup is a fantastic new concept to promote powerboat racing, and an event where young talent can shine.
With Nations Cup, what you have is basically you have many nations that are interested in catamaran tunnel boat racing or may do it themselves, and you have drivers that are not Formula 1 quality yet, but maybe Formula 2, Formula 4, or even Neeler boats, and they're all coming together trying to vie for who's best in the world at the moment.
The great thing about Nations Cup is these guys that all race locally in their country can come compete on a world stage, and I think that's just great, period. They get to see us race Formula 1. And conversely, our teams get to see drivers that we might not get to see before. And if someone's really talented, uber talented, you never know, they might get a shot in Formula 1. So that's good for the sport. It's also good for the sport to mix all these different people together. The more people that we bring in, the better. So that's what we're looking for.
It's a similar style boat, obviously, the catamaran style boat. A little bit less power, but it helps you very well to learn for the Formula 1 because it's underpowered, so you have to be very smooth in the boat compared to the Formula 1 to where you can have horsepower to make up for your mistakes.
They all have the same boat, all the same engines, same propellers, so obviously it's up to the drivers.
The Nations Cup boat obviously has less power, we know that, but it's a little bit more generic. It's a Formula 1 boat is very reliant on the boat as well, but a Nations Cup boat they're all basically the same. And these guys got to come out and compete. It's based on drivers' talent. Propellers are the same. Everything's the same. So it's a much less technical version of what we race, but at the same time, it highlights what a driver can do and can't do, which is really what you're looking for when you're trying to find someone for Formula 1, or if there's someone that might have some talent to move up to Formula 1 in the future.
The last two UIM Nations Cup events drew big crowds and plenty of national teams from all over the world. So far, the Nations Cup has been all about the rivalry between two teams, UAE and Qatar. The first ever Nations Cup in Singapore had a spectacular Singaporean skyline backdrop. UAE driver Ahmed Al-Hamali won the match race, and then he won the Grand Prix race ahead of Khalid Al-Shamlan and Khalid Al-Kuwari of Qatar, with UAE pilot Majid Al-Mansouri fourth. Team UAE just beating Qatar for the Nations Cup title, with Team South Africa third. In the second Nations Cup in Khor Fakkan last year, Al-Mansouri won both the match race and the Grand Prix for Team UAE, which once again beat runners-up Team Qatar, with Team Finland finishing third. Qatar Grand Prix features 12 drivers from 6 countries. This year, Khalid Al-Kuwari is back again and leading out Team Qatar alongside debutant Mohammed Al Obaidli. But now Qatar is racing in home waters with local support behind them. Can they win it this time? The competition is once again fierce. Team UAE features 2 up-and-coming young talents, Rashid Al-Khemzi and Mohammed Al-Maherbi, both of whom have competed in the F4S Eurofin Trophy. The Middle Eastern field is further bolstered by Team Saudi Arabia, with Naeem Al-Kadawi and Saud Hamad, along with Team Lebanon featuring Lebos Chagouri, who raced for Team Brazil in the first 2 Nations Cups. But Middle Eastern might will be challenged by a strong European presence. Team Russia. There are 4 pilots and 2 boats for Team Russia, with Andrei Panyushkin and Mikhail Kitashev in boat number 5, while brothers Roman and Dmitry Vandyshev share racing duties in boat number 6. But the dark horse this year could be Team Norway, which features 2 young and aggressive pilots, Stian Slatendalen and Christian Carlsen. The Qatar Grand Prix is comprised of 2 20-minute sprint races that will be run on a 4-turn, anti-clockwise, 1.5-kilometer circuit, with 2 500-meter straights and a 435-meter starting straight to buoy number 1. Money used to get. The all-important morning time trials to decide the starting lineup for the match race saw a titanic struggle between the defending Nations Cup champions, Team UAE, and newcomers to the series, Team Norway. Mohammed Al-Maherbi set what proved to be the fastest time, 45.05 seconds, early in the 1-hour session, but his time came under pressure in the latter stages as both his teammate Rashid Al-Khemzi and the Norwegians Stian Slatendalen and Christian Carlsen edged ever closer to it. The Norwegians traded places throughout the session, Slatendalen holding the advantage in second spot just 0.04 of a second off the leader with 10 minutes to go. Carlsen held third with 45.45 seconds ahead of Al-Khemzi. With less than 5 minutes on the clock, Al-Khemzi jumped Carlsen, posting his best time, 45.28 seconds. Both the Norwegians went again, Carlsen overcooking it and barrel rolling on turn 4, the yellow flag coming out just as Slatendalen went quickest with a blistering 44.82 second lap. Unfortunately for the young Norwegian, his time was discounted. Team Lebanon's Lebos Chagouri had a strong final quarter, moving up from outside the top 10 to set the 5th fastest time, 45.77 seconds, with Andrei Panyushkin outpacing his teammate Roman Vandyshev to finish in the top 6. So pole position went to Team UAE's Al-Maherbi, Slatendalen second on the starting grid, third place going to Rashid Al-Khemzi.
Well, I'm happy with this setup. I'm lucky with it. I feel better than I tried last year this boat in Abu Dhabi, but this year I try it now. I'm very happy, confident. So hopefully we'll get a good scoring.
In the match race, 2 boats line up against each other for the best of 3 runs on a 2-pin alternate course. Khalid Al-Kuwari beat his Qatari teammate Mohammed Al Obaidli in the first round, followed by Mohammed Al-Maherbi of the UAE in the quarterfinals, and then Lebos Chaguri in a close-fought semifinal. Kuwari's rival in the final would be Team Russia's Andrei Panyushkin. He eased past Team Norway's Stian Slatendalen after the gung-ho Norwegian crashed out on the first leg of their quarterfinal, capping a disastrous day for Team Norway following Carlsen's crash in the time trials.
Go in the turn and got a little wave in the side and just rolled around. So it was very fast, but I'm okay and hope the boat is okay.
We have two talented and aggressive drivers from Norway that had a bad day today. They were very fast in qualifying, but unluckily and maybe a bit too aggressive, and they both rolled out. But it's a great experience for them, and I'm sure they will do well in Abu Dhabi.
In the final of the match race, Khalid Al-Kuwari went up against Andrei Panyushkin. Kuwari went to the near boy first, Panyushkin to the far boy. The two went head-to-head on the last straight there in the second heat, but Khalid Al-Kuwari pulls away for the win, defeating Panyushkin convincingly over 2 heats. Al-Kuwari taking the maximum 25 points for Qatar team. Celebrations for Qatar team as Al-Kuwari wins the match race. Panyushkin runner-up, Chaguri third. It was an eventful day for the Norwegians. Due to the crash damage suffered in their first outings, the Norwegian team had to build a single boat out of 2, with the number 8 engine being mounted on the number 7 hull. Slatendalen and Carlsen to share race duties in the number 7 Team Norway boat.
Yesterday, both the Norwegian boats crashed out, one in the match race and one in the qualification. The problem we have now is one boat is broken and the other engine on the other boat is broken. So what I'm trying to do is put the good engine on the good boat, and hopefully we can get them out there for the racing today.
The boat was ready just in time for Sprint Race 1. And so the season's first Nations Cup race gets underway. 6 nations, 10 boats, 2 20-minute sprint races. The crowds filled the shores of Doha Bay on a beautiful late afternoon, with thousands rooting for their home team. Emirati Al-Maherbi had pole, with his teammate Al-Kamzi starting second, followed by Chaguri and the Russian boats. The lights go out, the First Nations Cup sprint race is on. Al-Maherbi in pole pulls away into the lead. His teammate Al-Kamzi and Qatari Mohammed Al-Obaidli in number 12 trying to keep up with Al-Maherbi. Al-Maherbi leads early, but just look at the pace on Al-Kamzi. The two Emiratis are in charge here, and it looks like their biggest rivals for this race will be each other. Meanwhile, Christian Carlsen had some good speed on him as he overtook one of the Russian boats and then set his sights on Lebos Chaguri of Lebanon. Rashid Al-Kamzi coming up on Al-Maherbi's starboard side down that 255-meter stretch between buoys 1 and 2. Smooth move from Rashid Al-Kamzi as he overtakes Al-Maherbi right on that number 2 turn, and the two then sprint off down that 500-meter straightaway to turn number 3. And behind them is Al-Kuwari and Al-Obaidli, followed by Lebosh Chaguri of Lebanon, trying to make some headway to see if he can't make his way up the field. Another battle between teammates unfolds in the back as Team Russia's Mikhail Kitashev in boat number 5 passes Dmitry Vandyshev in boat number 6. In 7th position, Kitashev then takes on the young Norwegian Christian Karlsson, but Karlsson fends off the Russian challenge with a tight turn and some clean, consistent driving. But Mikhail Kitashev doesn't back down, keeping up the pressure on Karlsson, trying to see if he can't find a little gap in which to find his chance to pounce. Terrible news for Qatar team as number 12 Mohammed Al-Obaidli's boat breaks down in lap 4. That's going to hurt their chances. But at least Al-Obaidli's teammate Khalid Al-Kuwari is hightailing it in 3rd position here behind the UAE boats as the experienced Nations Cup driver laps the Saudi backmarkers. The Saudi boats seem to be playing a safe strategy, knowing that the points allocation in the Nations Cup greatly favors a strong overall team showing and a 2-boat finish. In lap 5, Karlsson in 5th position, still trying to hold off Kitashev in boat number 5. Kitashev moves real close, coming around turn number 1, and on turn number 2, he sees his chance and takes the Norwegian on that 500-meter straightaway. Good move from Kitashev, who moves himself up into 5th position. But now Karlsson has to worry about the second Russian boat as Dmitry Vandyshev in boat number 6 starts gaining on Karlsson. In the lead, it's a masterful race so far from Rashid Al-Khamzi, driving with the confidence of a seasoned veteran as he guards his lead against his teammate Mohammed Al-Meherbi. But Meherbi clips his boat on those roughening conditions and he barrel rolls out of the race. A spectacular and disappointing end to his first Nations Cup outing as a yellow flag goes up and the rescue team is on the scene. The young driver was fine and unhurt as the remaining boats motored around in their race positions. Green flag, the race is restarted as the boats thunder away, with Al-Khamzi leading ahead of Al-Kuwari of Qatar, now in 2nd position. Lebosh Chaguri is 3rd, then the 2 Russians, Kitashev and Dmitry Vandyshev, followed by the 2 Saudi Arabian boats, bringing up the rear. Chaguri, who was 3rd in the match race, also going 3rd here. Chaguri loses control of his boat, unable to keep it down. He goes flying and lands belly up. That's a shame for Chaguri, the dual citizen Lebanese-Brazilian pilot in his 2nd crash in 3 Nations Cup outings. That would be another yellow flag as the rescue boat attends to Chaguri. There it is on the replay. Chaguri flies off the water. Thankfully, he was unhurt and his boat was towed off the course. There was no time left to restart the race, which would end under a yellow flag. Rashid Al-Khamzi, the winner for UAE. Khalid Al-Kuwari, runner-up. Mikhail Kitashev finishing 3rd. But a double boat finish for both Team Russia and Team Saudi Arabia would give them the advantage. On to Sprint Race 2, with Chaguri and Al-Meherbi crashing out in Race 1. Only 7 boats would compete in Race 2. Problems right from the get-go for Team Russia as number 5 falters. Leading on the 450-meter starting straight is Khalid Al-Kuwari, who edged ahead of Race 1 winner Rashid Al-Khamzi. Although Al-Kuwari had the lead, Al-Khamzi used the inside lane to his advantage, getting in tight on the commitment boy to overtake the Qatari and get back where he left off in Race 1 at the head of the field. Roman Vandyshev in Russian boat number 6 is right on Kuwari's tail. Mohammed Al-Abaidli barrel rolls! The Qatari number 12 is out of the race, leaving Kuwari to go it alone for the rest of the race. There it is again on the replay. Al-Abaidli losing control on that tricky corner, and he goes into a double barrel roll. Fortunately, he's unhurt in this, the third crash of the afternoon. That leaves just 6 boats now motoring around the course under a yellow flag. UIM race commissioner Luis Ribeiro restarts the race. Rashid Al-Khamzi picks up where he left off, zipping around those corners, but Khalid Al-Kuwari is right up there with him as yet another classic UAE Qatar showdown unfolds. Behind the two Middle Easterners, a battle rages between the Russian and Norwegian boats, with Stian Slatendalen setting his sights on Roman Vandyshev in 3rd, followed by Saud Hamad in 5th and Naim Al-Qadawi in 6th. Al-Khamzi is fast as he opens his lead over his former fellow F4S Eurofin Trophy competitor Khalid Al-Kuwari. In 3rd is Roman Vandyshev, a former 2-time Russian champion from Moscow. Slatendalen in 4th is catching up with Vandyshev as the gung-ho Norwegian sticks to his usual style. Go hard or go home. Slatendalen and Vandyshev are neck and neck going into turn number 2, and Slatendalen has it. Vandyshev nearly loses control on that straight that has already claimed Chiguri, but the Russian holds on and pursues the Norwegian. Behind them, the Saudi pilots stick to their game plan, knowing that a consistent showing can earn them the points they need now to capitalize on the other team's incidents and accidents, which will surely now earn them a podium place. Having overtaken the Russian, Slatendalen now wants to bite off an even bigger chunk as he takes on Khalid Al-Kuwari in 2nd position. The Norwegian hightails it up to turn number 4, staying on the outside, using the space well in a reduced field. He nips and tucks, getting on the inside of the Qatari now as the two go head-to-head in that 500-meter drag race to turn 3. It looks like Slatendalen might have it. He does. The young Norwegian is sensational as he outpaces Al-Kuwari and moves up into 2nd position on lap 12. In 4th place behind Al-Kuwari, Roman Vandyshev trying to stay in touch with a leading triumvirate. Behind the Russian, accomplished jet skier and Saudi national championship pilot Saud Hamad leads his fellow Saudi Naim Al-Qadawi. Slatendalen has race talent that belies his years, with lots of experience in Norwegian V25, F4S and V60 series. Behind him, Vandyshev keeps up his pursuit of Khalid Al-Kuwari. With one boat down, the Russians need all the points they can get. The clock winds down. Vandyshev moves up on Khalid Al-Kuwari as the Russian goes neck and neck with the Qatari on the straight to turn 2. But the Qatari pilot keeps his nerves and says no more. He'll be holding tenaciously on to that 3rd place. The battle continues up ahead as well as Rashid Al-Khamzi tries to stave off the Norwegian onslaught, but Slatendalen gives it everything he has as his teammate Christian Carlsen, who ran in race 1, looks on. It's becoming a war of attrition now. Time must be passing very slowly for Al-Khamzi, but ticking away like a blur for Slatendalen, who maintains his relentless pursuit of the race leader, lapping the Saudi boats once again on the 1,500-meter circuit. In the final stretches now, Rashid Al-Khamzi successfully holds off Slatendalen as he heads to the finish line, capping off a perfect 2-race winning performance. But Slatendalen was no less impressive, rising up the field with some brave and fearless driving to take a well-deserved runner-up finish ahead of Khalid Al-Kuwari. Hamad and Al-Qadawi getting valuable double boat points. Rashid Al Khamzi picks up the sprint race trophy. Stockton Dahlin and Al Kuwari on the podium for sprint race 2, with Al Khamzi once again the winner.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen.
But it would be Team Russia that wins the Qatar Grand Prix, with Saudi Arabia runners-up and UAE third. Qatar team only manages 4th at home, followed by Team Norway, who can have a shot at the title in Abu Dhabi if they can rein themselves in a bit.
It's going to be a great day.
That concludes the UIM Nations Cup Grand Prix of Qatar. See you in Abu Dhabi for the final round of the 2013 season.